I immediately think of like different scenes on movies where you have instructors yelling at the the young guys. Is that kind of what it's like? And is that did you sense your own pride when you've got someone trying to kind of humiliate you? Or
yeah, they do a really good job of staying calm, cool, collected. Like you never saw them losing their minds.
People aren't screaming in your face.
Yeah, which made it even more intimidating actually, because you're like, man, this guy's actually really angry, and he's being effective too. Like we're in a lot of pain. His voice inflection hasn't really gone up at all. Wow. You're just like, man, this guy's a freaking robot. And they want you. I think there's a science behind it. They don't want to see themselves using the restroom or eating or they're almost like, man, are they human? Yeah. They want the students questioning that all the time. Like, wow. And they'll do, things where they'll get the fastest guy to lead the runs. So you're like, wow, all these instructors are so fast. Maybe they just have one super fast guy that can beat the students. Or, but when they get upset, or if you get isolated from the pack, that's when you know you're in for like a really bad day. And that happened to me one time.
How did that happen?
We were. This is post Hell Week, and we're doing life-saving skills. Mm-hmm. So it's in this big pool, and you've got, at this point, maybe 40 students listening to an instructor go over, hey, when we're in the pool, we're going to be doing this and this. It's supposed to be a great day, not physically exertive at all. Everyone, we just passed Hell Week. We're not quite in second phase yet, but they're kind of letting that pressure off. They've found their crew. And I started getting a little bit more comfortable, throwing out some humor, and some of the instructors, found it amusing. I got away with it, so I kept pushing. Well, this one instructor, he was the gatekeeper, and you did not mess with this one instructor. And I tried, and so he was going over this one evolution where you kick the individual, within the chest, and you break contact and then you come around and save them if they're like grabbing onto you. And this particular life-saving move had a name, and but the kicking of the chest sparked the memory of 300 with the Spartans, and that movie had just come out. And he goes, "Are there any questions?" I was like, "I got a question." He's like, "Mr. Blair." And it was like a stupid joke, but I went for it. I was like, "So when you kick the person in the chest, do you say this is life-saving?" Reminiscent of like the emissary, like this is Sparta.
Yeah.
And he just looked at me, and I was looking at my buddies like, guys, someone laugh, do something. He goes, was that a joke, Mr. Blair? I was like, oh. It's like, which made it even worse. I was like, hoo-yah. He's like, drop. And so I drop into like the push-up position. All my buddies get in the pool, cool off, have a nice little whatever, life-saving evolution. Super easy day. Meanwhile, I'm bear crawling around this pool for the duration of the day. So at the end of the day, so my hands are like bloody, and I'm like, stupid joke. And I'm like, the negative action scripts like running through my head, like, why would you isolate yourself? Why would you draw attention to yourself? You just want to be a gray man, but I was not. I was very much like front and center, good or bad, front and center. And at the end of, an hour, he's like, all right, Blair, your turn. So my hands are like, slippery, and I wasn't even listening, so I mess up the drill. So now I'm even worse trouble. Finish up, get out of the pool. I'm like, well, at least it's dinner time. Go coke and joke with my buddies. Mm-hmm. And he goes, Blair, meet me in the office, which is literally like a mile and a half away. So all my buddies go to chow.
And he's not giving you a lift.
Yeah, so I don't even get to eat dinner,
okay.
Which... the Army guys listening are like, yeah, we didn't eat for weeks, but so I miss a dinner, which is a big deal. And my buddy, you always have to have a swim buddy, so he runs with me to the instructor's lair, and there's all of the instructors are in there, to include this guy. And he the first thing he does is he kicks my buddy out. He's like, you can head home. So it's just me. I'm like, this isn't good. Like all the instructors and me. And I proceeded just, first thing you do, get wet, sandy. So do that, come back, do some workout with the kettlebells.
In front of them?
Yeah. The whole time, he's asked me, so what was the joke? And I explained the joke, and he lost. He's like, I know the effing joke, Blair. I was like, I just wanted to clear. He's like, I know the joke. So this is the first time I like saw him and he was like, make it super clear. You don't joke with me. Yes. I'm like, no, it's abundantly clear. It was clear 3 hours ago. Like I got it. Like, and I never did.
Yeah.
So fast forward, third phase, I'm almost done with this thing. So this is like months later. And our class got in trouble for something. I'm standing watch. And I had come off of this training trip where I didn't get a haircut. And I looked similar like I do now, like long hair, which is unacceptable as a student. Which they let it slide because we didn't have a barber on this training site. Come back and I have to stand in my blues, which is like the dress formal outfit, and I'm like putting it together. I can't find my tie, so I go for the bow tie, like super formal, you know. And I have my white gloves, a bow tie. I'm standing behind the desk, and my hair is just like a mess. And in walks this instructor, and he's like, "Oh gosh," my heart just sank. I was like, I didn't want to ever see this guy again, you know? He goes, hey pal, let me just tell you something. Why don't you just go sit in the back, save yourself some pain? Because someone might walk in and lose their mind, which I thought was going to be him. And he was super cool. He's like, just go sit in the back. So I did, watched, was over and went and got a haircut, you know? Saw that guy years later, super cool dude. But in the moment, he had to keep that,
you have to,
persona, like, you don't joke with me. Like, I'm the one guy you're not going to joke with.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Did you find people, though, at the beginning of your training becoming prideful and hurt about that? Like
the students? Or
like was that, I would imagine, like you were saying, like just the mental thing of like, we were just at lunch, we got more of this. I would also imagine that someone kind of correcting you in front of your peers, especially if, as you say, you've been used to winning your whole life, would be difficult to take for some people.
Well, I think they smoked that out early because if you take offense there, it's probably not going to be a good fit for you because once you get into the teams, I mean, if you smell, guys are brutal, man, because within the teams, in a wonderful, beautiful way, it's brutal because, and let me unpack that because that might need some clarification. People are super hard on one another in terms of, and they're candid. Like, hey man, like you messed this up, and I'm telling you because we need to get better. And the reason I think the teams have and hopefully will continue to be exceptional is because of that candidness and the peer dynamic. And because you go through training together, rank is not a factor when it comes to performance. So if you're not performing, you're going to hear about it, and people are going to be super candid because they love you. And I think if you look at high-performing teams, at the end of the day, the ones that perform the best are the ones that are candid with one another, and that have that level of just like, hey, man, I'm telling you this because I'm your friend. If you take offense to that and you get arrogant or kind of defensive, prickly, it's like, hey, man, probably not for you. Because you need thick skin in this environment because that happens after every training evolution, mission. Like that debrief is what saves lives. It really is like, hey, we need to do this and like figure it out faster than the enemy. And so if you're going to get defensive about that,
so this is bigger than you.
It's bigger than you.
Like this is not about you.
No one cares about your feelings. We're trying this is for everyone. Like it's a benefit that you learn, adjust, and get better.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment below letting us know what you thought about the video.